Banwa kang San Jose, butuhon natin sa pagkasangguniang bayan. Elizalde Jimmy Gomez, eksperensyado sa paghimo kang ordinansa kag resolusyon. Nangin acting sangguniang panlalawigan secretary sa sulod kang malawid nga tinuig. Elizalde Jimmy sang ka Board of Director as Vice Chairman kang San Jose Water Works. Board of Director kang APGIMCO. Vice Chairman kang Electric Cooperative Member Consumer Owners kang Anteco. Chairman Election Committee kang Antique Federation of Cooperatives. Elizalde Jimmy sang ka-accounting major, Bachelor of Laws kag Master in Public Administration. Elizalde Jimmy bagay mangin SB para sa progreso kang aton ekonomiya sa tampad nga pagserbisyo. May pag-ulikid sa mga empleyado kag mga kooperatiba, sa magagmay nga mangunguma, mangingisda, kag sa mga tricycle drivers. Elizalde Jimmy, butuhon sa pagka-SB, sa balota.
Ayos ko yung
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect the host, the show, the management, and this station.
magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, mga minamahal naming taga-subaybay. Welcome po dito sa Elizalde Broadcasting mula sa Kalakhang, Maynila, at syempre sa ating pong programang EB Talakayan mula 10 to 11 in the morning. Every day ho yun, Monday to Friday. At syempre, kasama po natin lagi si Miss Rex Manuel.
Hello po everybody, kamusta po lahat? At syempre, magandang umaga, Miss
Ayan.
MEL ELIZALDE.
Magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng ating viewers at kung yung makikinig pa mamaya, magandang araw. So whatever time you choose to listen and watch us, it's okay because tayo po ay globally, we are being listened to and we are being watched all over the world. Ayan.
Ayan, ang ganda, no? Ang ganda ho ng mga balita ngayon. May maganda, merong mga nakakainis. O, di ba? Unahan muna natin yung maganda. No? Ano, sabi ng ng COMELEC ay natapos na raw ang 94.68% na balota. Wow.
94.
68% na
Oo,
balota
so
para sa
less
May
than,
9.
Less than 6% na lang ang
Oo.
iniimprenta.
Pero kung matatandaan nyo, nung nakaraang mga araw, ay tila nagdeklara sila ng napakadaming na mali daw yung balotang na imprenta. Napakadami nun eh.
Nagkaroon ng
Oo.
pagkakamali.
Pagkakamali daw yung may mali daw yung naimprentang so many.
Wow. So gastos na naman yan.
Sinayang na naman ng
A
pera.
waste of money
yes.
again.
At hindi lang yun. Saan gagamitin? At anong gagawin doon sa mga namaling balota na yan? Di ba, ang alam ko dyan, pag inimprenta, magkakaroon ka kaagad ng idea kung may mali. Kasi isa pa lamang, makita mo na yung may mali, di ba?
Dapat, kung yung nga nagpapa-imprenta ka siguro ng calling card
Oo.
pag takbo ng ganyan at may mali,
Nakita mo, oo.
agad-agad pwede
Oo.
mong sitahin. Yan.
Yun, ako.
Balota ho yan. Napakasagrado
Oo.
niyan. Dapat po yan talagang
bakit
masusing
ano nangyari ho doon sa
pinag-aaralan.
dineklara nyo na may mali kayong na-imprenta na sangkatutak na na balota? Sana po babalitaan nyo naman ang taong bayan tungkol doon, ano? At ito pa, isa pang mga balita natin, medyo hindi rin to maganda. Sinabi ng BIR, hanggang ngayon daw po, ang mga Marcos ay di pa bayad sa 203 billion sa estate tax nila. Alam niyo po, napakalaking pera nito at sana po magagamit ng sambayanan.
Ito pong tinatawag na estate tax. Ito po yung pagka ang isang yumao
Oo.
ay inilisan tayo with
Oo.
so much kanyang assets.
Yes.
So, dahil yun ay ipapamana,
Sa'yo,
kaya estate, oo. So, yun ang dapat mong bayaran, ang
Yes, you are
estate
obligated
tax.
to pay
Oo.
the estate
Pero
tax.
parang ang tagal.
Ang tagal na yan di ba?
Ano po ang ginawa naman ng BIR the past years?
Sabi
Bakit?
nila, pinadadala naman daw nila. But then, hindi naman daw talaga nagbabayad. O ano ang authority meron kayo?
Hindi, ano pong pinadadala? Pinadadala ng mga Marcoses?
Pinadadala ng
Sa
mga Marcoses
BIR?
ng BIR na sinasabing they have to pay their estate tax na ganitong amount na 203 billion.
Pero kasi po kung bibilangin natin, ilang pangulo na ang dumaan.
Oh.
'Di ba? Syempre after Marcos left, nagkaroon tayo ng Cory Aquino as president. O sumunod kay Cory, Fidel Ramos. After Fidel Ramos, sino po? Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Mauna ba? Hindi po. Si Joseph Estrada muna.
Tapos
Joseph Estrada. Then Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Then Noynoy Aquino. And then
yun si
President Duterte. Oo.
Napakadami na pong presidente. Bakit ho hindi na obliga?
Na may tiga-6 na taon na termino.
Yes.
Nagkaroon na ng
ngayon,
iba-ibang BIR heads.
Yan. Ngayon, bakit ho ngayon lang kung kailan mag-e-election na tsaka sinasabi yan. At hanggang ngayon, di pa na-i-implement yung para mabayaran itong 203 billion na kung saan mapapakinabangan sana ng sambayanan. No?
Tuloy ngayon ang naniningil na yung mga kalaban sa politika. Nagkakaroon tuloy sila ng pwede
kulay,
nilang...
Oo, sinasabi tuloy na, kasi namumulitika lang yan
Oo.
Pero remember, mga kababayan, wala tayong kinakampihan dito. It's been a long time. This amount should be paid already dapat.
Actually, ang sa akin naman din po doon, dapat din, as sino man yung tumatayong leader, ay tutok, wag nyo hunting na ay, kaalyado ko to sa politika. Hindi ko muna, kasi yan po, kaganapan. At saka yan, nagkataon, estate tax. So, hindi pwedeng maitago sa tao dahil estate Kung alam ninyong meron talagang minana or mamanahin.
Napakadami syempre ng minana, di ba?
Kaya nga po, di ba? Kaya yung iba.
Kaya nga umabot sa 203 billion yan
Kaya nga, sabi nga, di ba po, kung yaan, estate tax pa lang, that means yung lahat ng total ng minana nila ay sobra-sobra dyan. Kasi fraction lang yan nung totoong dapat minana. No?
Teka, may nag-react dito sa atin. Eric Ike Enriquez, sabi niya, the problem with the state tax, paano nila mauobliga ang mga Marcoses kung wala sa kanila yung possession ng estate? Wow!
Nasaan ho ba talaga yung
estate na yun?
Nasaan ho ba yung estate na yan?
Lahat, wala sa kanilang pangalan, no?
Actually po, no, ako ito makatotohanan ng kwento to. Kasi yung isa sa lawyer, kilala naman siguro ng iba niyan, si Vic Millora, na naging part ng KBL. Meron pa siyang isang associate attorney, Ramon S. Dino. Ang inaamin niya po sa akin ay doon daw pag dumadalaw siya sa bahay ni Imelda, when they came back from the States, pagka walang pera daw walang cash, kuha ka na lang ng titulo dyan, pumili ka kung anong gusto mong titulo.
Wow.
So, ang mga abogado daw po, ang
Oh.
abogado, instead of you charging cash for your legal services,
Ayun,
pipili ka na lang daw ng titulo.
Oo,
Opo, at I'm sure
Swerte, ah.
hindi nagpapatawa o
Oo.
nagsisinungaling yung lawyer na kausap ko
Oo.
dahil siya ho yung co-producer ko dun sa mga dakilang lakan. Ito ho yung buhay ng lahat ng mga presidente na dinocument namin. So sinabi nga niya, ang binayad sa akin ni Madam
Anong property yun? Saan?
hindi po, yun
Ano,
nga.
anong yun?
Marami nga daw po
Oh
yun.
my
Maraming
God.
titulo. Mamili ka
Oo.
sa dami ng titulo
You
kung ano
see?
gusto mong
Para
kukunin.
yatang ilang kahon yan eh.
Kaya nga yun ang sinasabi ko. Kaya siguro ang sinasabi, nasan yung estate? Hindi ho natin alam kasi ito, again, syempre, that I have not seen with my own eyes. But, naikwento ho nung lawyer ko na siya namang kasama ko nga dun sa pagdo-document ng buhay ng lahat ng Pangulo.
Mga presidente.
Oo. So, kaya nga po sinabi ko, kaya ako, I know for sure na si Ramon Magsaysay pa rin ang pinakahahangaan ko sa lahat ng mga Pangulo dahil pinag-aralan namin lahat ng mga naging accomplishments
Siya
na
hindi
mga...
siya yung hindi nagkaroon ng bahid ang pangalan sa mga ano no, yung
At
nagpayaman.
tuloy, napaikli ang buhay,
Kaya
yun,
nga.
yung part na yun ang hindi na natin alam
Well,
kasi,
oo.
di ba po, naging aksidente.
Kasi masyado siyang tuwid eh, kaya medyo
Mm.
na-touch niya siguro yung mga
May nasagasaan.
oligarko. Oo, kung
May
ano
mga
man.
nasagasaan, oo.
Bakit ba ganun ho? Pag gagawa tayo ng tama, sasagasaan tayo, papatayin tayo. Pag gumawa ka ng mali, dadakilain ka. Wala na siguro manghahangad gumawa ng matino pagka ganyan. Pero sinasabi ko po sa inyo, mga minamahal nating mga kababayan, pagka ganyan po ang kaisipan, lalo na po ng mga leader at mga magiging leader natin, I don't know kung saan papunta ang bayang ito.
Well,
Na
actually, ito
masyadong
ho yung
nakakaiyak
pagkakataon
eh.
kasi alam natin malapit na yung halalan. Ngayon, nasa sa inyo na ho, kayo yung makaka-discern kung tingin ninyo ay politika lang yan, walang basihan, or may basihan naman. Dahil ang sabi nga, narinig ko ho si Yorme nagsalita dyan eh, dahil inamin na raw. Ang sabi lang daw ni BBM ay babayaran naman nila. Wag lang kayong magmadali, pero babayaran nila. Parang ganon.
Ibig sabihin, pag sinabing gano'n, aminado.
Yun ho ang salita ni Yorme.
Yorme ng Manila.
Katunggali rin sa pagiging Pangulo. Kaya nga, may iba naman doon nag-comment tuloy, ba't mo ba pinakikialaman yung pera nila? Ikaw din naman may naitatabi yung pera dyan.
Oh, wow.
Yun naman ang sa kanya, di ba? Ang salita nga niya. Ako, nilagyan ko naman ng tax. O di bali, tinatago ko itong donasyon sa akin ng isang sikat na tao. Pero nilagyan ko naman ng tax ito.
Ligtas. Di ba?
Ayan nga po. Pero ang tanong kasi dito ngayon, BIR. BIR lang ba ang katunggali natin dito? Or, kasi nga yun yung itatanong mo ngayon sa sarili mo. Kasi wala namang ibang ginagawa ang BIR kundi yan lang. Bakit pinaabot ng kung ilang Pilipino, ilang Pangulong Pilipino bago ngayon? So, ano ho yung mga naging aktibidades ng mga ibang BIR heads or commissioners during that time?
Ngayon, kailan lang sinabi ng Presidente Digong na kailangan pa ba ng utos mula sa Malacanang BIR para kolektahin yung 203 billion na yan? Ngayon, sabi naman ng mga tao na alam niyo na, medyo kampi sa mga Marcoses. Tayo rito, wala pong kinakampihan. Inilalatag lang po natin sa ating mga mamamayan yung mga balita.
Mga current issues
ngayon,
na-address natin.
ang sabi naman ba't naghihintay pa ba kayo ng utos mula sa Malacanang? Matagal na ho yan di ba? Sabi nga ni Ms. Rex, ilang panahon na, ilang presidente na ang dinaanan. Pero may nangyari ho ba? Meron ho bang presidenteng naglakas loob na talagang kumbaga tutukan ng mga Marcoses para bayaran po yung kanilang estate tax man lang?
As a matter of fact, may panahon nga po na acquitted sila May mga kaso sila na na-acquit sila. Ito lang po, kasi meron daw yan deadline. At nung daw mga panahon na yon, noong mga 1980s, it took only mga 6 months para i-ano yan. Pero I don't know, hindi naman yata 1980 something ba nung pumanaw yung ating former President Ferdinand Marcos. Kasi from the time, yun dahil estate tax yan. Ngayon, wag nating masyadong anuhin yung sa politika. Kunyari po sa ordinaryong magpamilya na lang. May isang pumanaw na head of the family. So, yung head of the family, pagpanaw niya, ay kailangan palang bayaran ng estate tax ng mga magmamana. So, depende ngayon kung saan ba manggagaling yung mana na yan. Kasi siguro kung nahawakan mo naman talaga yung ganyang karaming mana, eh ano ba naman yung bawasan mo ng pambayad ng estate tax? Pero,
remember, nung sila'y, ang mga Marcoses, nung sila'y, sabihin natin, na-topple down yung kanilang gobyerno, di ba sila ay napunta ng Hawaii?
US,
Oo.
yes, yes.
At mula doon sa mga reports, isang katutak na bagahe at mga papeles ay kahon-kahon daw po. Ibig sabihin, yung mga titles ng kanilang mga pag-aari, ibig sabihin, napakadami po noon. So, nung bumalik po si Madam Imelda Marcos dito, naibalik ho ba niya dito lahat?
Depende nga po yan. Kagaya nga nung sinabi ko, yung kausap ko na abogado siya, isa siya. Kasama niya si Vic Meliora. Sila po ay nasa isang law firm.
Ito, sinagot ka. Sabi niya, I knew Attorney Vic for so long, even him, he cannot say exactly where are the question's properties. Wow.
Kasi nga, titulo yun. Iba kasi yung property, iba yung titulo. Lalo na sa panahon na, kahit nga ngayon kaya pumunta ka ng LRA, humingi ka ng kopya ng parang certified copy. Hindi po, yung ordinary kayong tagapagmana. Ordinaryo kayong tagapagmana. Kasi po, marami rin talaga nakakapag-fabricate ng mga titulo.
Ay, nako,
din naman
napakatagal na niyang ginagawa.
May mga ganyang klaseng titulo na pangsangla lang nila, pang ano. At ako,
nagkukonsyabahan nga
Yeah, I know for sure because I have a neighbor na yung kanyang bahay ay napatayo niya against a titulo na gawa-gawa lang nila.
Oh, wow.
So, proven ko po yan because the lawyers who are handling that are also my associates. Kaya alam kong may ganon. So, ito na po pala ang ating guest for today. So, tita, kayo na po ang ano.
Ikaw na.
So, let's give a pause for a while and we'll be back with our program. Meron siguro tayong jingle dyan. Or si Angel Ortega.
Sige.
Pasok natin. Yes, we'll be back.
Good morning to the special people watching. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Nandito po ako ngayon sa Loay, Bohol. Ayan, nandito po ako sa munisipyo. Hello, Tita Rex, and to the special people. Miss ko na kayo. See you when I'm back.
All right, so we are back. We're still with our program Talakayan. Now, if you notice, syempre medyo nag-beg off ang ating lady boss, the owner of our Elizalde Broadcasting. It's because she's giving me a chance to get to know this particular candidate. Kasi po, ito ho yung portion na sinasabi namin na magkakaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na mas makilala natin ang mga tumatakbong kandidato sa Labor Party Philippines or LPP, also known as the Workers' Party, Workers' Peasants Party. So, Workers and Peasants. So, ito po, yun ho ang original na pangalan Now, we will get to know this particular person right now because he happens to be the official candidate of Labor Party Philippines or the WPP in Quezon City. So if I'm not mistaken, ang atin pong katabi ngayon ay isang inventor. So welcome to our program Talakayan, Inventor Jose Ingles Jr. Good morning po, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, and I understand, base ho sa nababasa ko dito, kayo ay isang inventor.
Yes.
When you say inventor, ano-ano po ba itong ating mga mapagmamalaking inventions?
Before that, I will introduce myself first.
Okay.
Yung background ko.
Okay.
I am the son of Ambassador Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs. So, when I was 2 years old, my father was assigned as the first Philippine mission delegate to the United Nations with Carlos Romalo.
Is that right? Carlos Romalo.
Yes. So I grew up in the US, from kindergarten, we moved around from apartment and then to house later on. And because of his position, we were going back and forth to United Nations, to Europe, and here. But since I started from grade school, kindergarten, and grade school, I acquired the American mindset.
Wow. Okay.
So in the American mindset, in the rural area, uh, it's just like any rural area in the other countries, except iba ang environmental environment, because the our classmates were of different nationalities, but mostly uh, the Americans and the Italians were the ones that are more populated there. The Asians, when I first came there, they thought I was a Chinese. So the Americans had a little bit of an impression sa mga Asian na because because of the war, merong mga nag-digest sa akin. So, but in general, the community background is that the low income and middle class family ang mga kasama ko. But then, because of the American education in the public school, medyo well-rounded na ang character development natin. So, we had values, except there was no religion in the public school in the beginning. But then later on, we were able to find a Catholic school, presentation school in urban New York, and Queens. In the Queens area, I grew up in under the nuns of presentation. So I got a little background there, and then the mindset is rural area. Every weekend we go to the fish pond, and then everybody in the community would regard, and then would socialize with each other. We were a few of the sons and daughters of the diplomats there. So the Queens area at that time was very good peace and order. There was no very low crime rate, and the most influential were the Italians. So from there, when my father was assigned to Europe, I went to the kindergarten in France, in Paris. So I learned the mentality of the French a little, and then going back and forth, I continued until I reached 12th grade in elementary. After 12th grade elementary, my father was assigned as ambassador to West Germany. So I have the American environmental background, and then I have the German American background in Germany. Bad Godesberg was a residential area. Bonn was the capital. I studied at the American school in the Rhine, and this is the best of the German economy, which became the second largest economy after 15 years from the ashes, with the help of the Americans. And there were so many American bases in Germany. But in the community, American community that we were in, when we would have basketball, we would have basketball in the different German areas. But what I noticed about the American education is they have more subjects, more social subjects. And then what was unique about my upbringing is our American school had I had classmates from the diplomatic community, anak ng mga diplomats, from the multinational American companies, anak ng mga big companies of America, and then the American military. And then we had a few native Germans. And what was really unique is I had 3 geniuses for classmate. What I learned from the 3 geniuses after a few years of the high school was they are able to make the complex simple. And they would do things and solve solutions which the teacher never taught.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with that background, I became interested in science.
And that's the reason why you got into this
Yes.
sort of inventions.
One of the reasons, yes.
Okay.
So we would do experiments on explosives, making
All right.
explosives, etc. And we would experiment on unique science experiments. And then after that, I came back to the Philippines and I took up De La Salle High School. What's surprising though, they did not recognize my high school in.
What do you mean?
Where?
The subjects which you took abroad were not credited when you joined?
We're not credited.
Wow.
But the high school that I had in
You were at what age already that time, sir?
I
what
was
age? When you were in La Salle?
if actually it was a long time ago.
Yeah, so you can't remember.
I'm now 77
But
years old.
you
So,
are now
77
77.
years old.
Wow, okay. Now I'm just trying to find out because, if you wasted, I would call it a waste, but it's not credited. But I know that you learned so much from that.
Yes.
And it, in fact, motivated you to become who you are now as an inventor. But of course, nanghihinayang lang ako dun sa time.
Yes.
But of course, after all, you don't look 77. So, okay na lang yun. But okay, so going back now to your La Salle days, because I'm sure our viewers will be listening more to that because now you're running as a candidate of Quezon City,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you should be a Filipino citizen.
Yes.
So are you?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I have been a Filipino citizen because of diplomatic status.
Yes.
we
And
have-
are you the only son of
No,
Mr.
I
Ingles?
had one brother.
you have
and
a
I
brother?
have 2 sisters.
Oh, I see. And are you the eldest in
I'm
the
the- I'm
family?
the eldest,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So take us back now to your days in school, especially here in the Philippines.
Okay. In the Philippines, I was called by my classmates as a mad scientist.
Mad scientist. Wow. You didn't punch them for that?
No.
You don't consider it bullying or
Okay.
something?
And then the first year that I came in, I had a very strong American slang accent.
You
So I was
speak
being-
like an American.
Yes, they kidded me. And then after a year, medyo nawala yung slang.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I spoke Taglish na.
Taglish.
Okay.
And up to now, you speak Taglish.
Yes, but I'm more comfortable speaking in English because for scientific explanation,
Right.
English is the preferred language.
Exactly. Especially there are scientific words,
Yes, yes.
which probably will be too high polluting when it comes
Yes,
to
yes,
Filipinos.
yes.
Anyway, so okay. Can we focus now on, because I'm excited to hear about your being a candidate in
Yes.
Quezon City.
Yes.
Yes, because number one, it's my first time to come across your name
Yes.
because I am a resident of Quezon City.
Very good.
And as a matter of fact, I should be running now on the third district of Quezon City.
Oh, very good.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So now I would like to take you back where we are in Quezon City. Of course, right now we're broadcasting from Manila. This is TM Callao, Manila. But I'm happy that Mr. Ingles went out of his way to join us here in the studio, despite of, I'm sure you have a busy schedule campaigning. Or are you already campaigning?
Actually, my campaigning is a little problem concerning campaign funds.
Campaign funds.
So
That's
when
where
I-
Elizalde comes in because you know we have this recorded and all, and then we just keep on playing this social media style of campaign.
Yes,
Oo.
it's more social media now than
Yes,
face to
yes.
face.
Okay.
Okay, so my platform is I'll read it once, no, and then I'll go
Okay.
one by one afterward.
Okay, go ahead.
Acknowledge number one, God's will.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, Israel. Number three, science in education, technology, innovation. Nanotechnology, copper colloid solution, the answer to current and future pandemics. Number four, love God and neighbor. Number five, prepare for famine agriculture, war with basement bomb shelters. And then number six, in Quezon City, one of my primary projects will be the planting of lemongrass, citronella, vetiver, and later on ilang. Though the ilang takes 6 years to 15 years to develop, while the lemongrass and citronella and vetiver can be harvested by the year. So we already have examples of essential oil manufacturers plantations here in the Philippines, but scattered and they're not very cooperative.
So we would turn this lemongrass, for example, into an oil.
Yes, we turn it into an oil, and then I have
Can,
formed.
can we see one and show it before the camera? I'm very familiar with lemongrass. As a matter of fact, as a young kid, you know, my mom would ask me to get some lemongrass from our garden and we will put it in our tinola or something like that because
Wala ba-
lemongrass
ibang-
for the
ibang-
Filipinos, you should know, ito yung tinatawag na tanglad. So now, Mr. Ingles is telling us that one of his concoctions or inventions or formula would be to have this in
you're
essential oil. Wow.
So,
So,
so the way to
Wow.
use this is you rub both hands and you inhale,
you
now-
put it in your hands
and then you
and
inhale.
inhale. Now, this will be good for your lungs, I
Yes,
could imagine.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you put it on the face mask,
Okay.
if you have one drop, you have a cold, it will go away.
Wow, that's
And
good.
then from my many testimonies is when you have a cold or flu, if you early treatment, the first symptoms, instantly,
Instantly.
the cold and flu will go away.
Whoa, that's good.
I am not stressing. I cannot emphasize yet as COVID-19 cure because I have no FDA and 10 million pesos and clinical studies for a year or two, which is being involved. So,
So-
this is my first product.
So this one, sir, if I will make it clear with you now, you are saying that you have not gone through FDA with this.
I've applied, but
You have applied.
I applied first for the patent, so I'm waiting for the patent to come out, and then I will take the next step of FDA and then the clinical studies.
That's good to hear. Anyway, at least Mr. Ingles here has already started. Am I correct? Do I pronounce this Ingles?
English, yes.
I won't say English. I won't say Mr. Joe English.
Yes, in America,
It's-
they pronounce it Ingles.
Ingles, yeah, I could imagine because yeah, they won't say this to be English, but we're now in the Philippines. So I'd say Mr. Jose Ingles Jr. and your dad is Jose.
Jose D. Ingles.
Yeah,
He was
okay.
quite well known then because all the passports before 1980, he was a signatory.
Before 1980, all passports of people going.
All DFA passports
Oh.
of the Philippines,
Uh-huh.
he was a signatory.
Oh, I see. Okay. So some of my older friends might have met him.
Yes.
I happen to be younger than you. So anyway, I'm happy to have met you, sir, and I'm happy we're talking about this. So this one alone can already help Quezon City at large.
Yes.
But why did you still want to, file for a candidacy and make yourself known to be a mayoralty candidate?
It started with, as an inventor, I joined the Philippine Inventors Organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Pero maraming organization.
Yes, of course, of inventors.
Now, the inventors are eccentric. If they do not agree, they put up their own.
Oh.
That's one of our Philippine characteristics. But anyway, I was able to be friend with all of the groups, and then one new group, I was given the opportunity to become president
Uh-huh.
of FIIS, Philippine Inventors and Innovators Society. So I'm working with two groups, the original FIS and the FIIS. And then I found out that we have lots of solutions,
Mm-hmm,
but we have for the pandemic. But the problem is government bureaucracy and government regulation is not in favor of the inventors promoting their products, actually. So a number of medical and doctor inventors who made formulas for the pandemic made an approach to Malacanang, um, to give you a name, Fabunan, and then they filed for the registration, the LTO, FDA LTO. Even so, actually, the president wanted to have a solution agad if there was a cure.
Okay.
Actually, Fabunan had patented this 20 years ago, and he was very successful in treating patients. But for some reason, our FDA and WHO and doctors seem to be against this of a Filipino new product because uh, from what we evaluated, this would go against the vaccination program. So eventually, the FDA issued a legal statement that he's not allowed to sell his because he was not able to complete the certificate of product registration, which goes through clinical studies of many years.
Yeah, that's Fabunan. We're talking about him. Okay, yes.
So since he was legally not allowed anymore to sell the product in the Philippines, he went to Indonesia.
Okay, yes.
And then
He was accepted there.
He was accepted there, and,
Uh-uh.
and then after that, he's coming back and he's trying to make representation again with the Philippines. But hindi pa. What will happen to the billions of dollars in vaccinations that are not yet vaccinated, the supplies and the system, this will be disrupted. We also have another medical doctor, Dr. Farabunch.
Farabunch. Is this a Filipino doctor?
Filipina doctor.
Farabunch.
So she was able to.
And Doctora Farah, you mean?
Yes, Dr. Farah.
Yeah. She's in the province now, or
No,
where is
she's
she?
in the U.S.
She
had
went
move-
to US,
Yes,
okay.
and the story behind that is that she was very successful here.
Yes, yes.
She with the PTAC, she opened a hospital clinic in Victoria, Tarlac.
Tarlac, that's why.
And
That's what
she
I
was
remember about her.
Able to treat 500,000 plus patients.
Wow, yeah.
And most of them were cured.
Yes,
of
yes.
cancer. But the problem is, Big Pharma came in. And the Big Pharma and the FDA director then investigated and
In fact, I
complained.
think they even filed a case
Yes,
against her. Is that
yes,
correct?
yes.
Yeah.
But according to Dr. Farah, she already started the application process.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So she should, since she is a certified medical doctor and she's treating patients and making them well, she should have been given the consideration.
Yes.
Instead, 50 NBI and police came over and told her to shut down.
Okay. So what did she do after that? 'Cause I heard about that controversy
Oh.
wherein, yeah,
So
there was an entrapment, as a matter of fact, I believe.
naglalaban siya because
Okay.
she has qualifications.
Okay.
And then the very last moment that she was here in the Philippines, naging very sad siya. She received threatened. She was threatened that all her family will be killed, and her only recourse was to move out of the Philippines. So she left everything here, and they moved with the husband to the U.S. And fortunately, she was able to find a capitalist going strong ang business nila sa US.
Abroad, yeah. So she's
there-
better off there, a
yes.
lot better
And
off than
there's,
when she was
she's selling
here.
again the products
Mm-hmm.
through middlemen here in the Philippines.
Oh, I see. And in any way, are you communicating with her?
At first, I was communicating. I was consulting her on
Mm-hmm.
my products and then my researches. So we collaborated on many things. So besides this, we will go back now to the Philippine situation on virgin coconut oil.
Yeah.
Virgin coconut oil, the FDA and DOH and the vaccine companies were totally against the BSO.
Yes, yes. I heard about that too, but it was very effective, and it has been proven that the virgin coconut oil turned out to be very effective
Very
during
effective.
this pandemic times. So what have they done again?
So,
The government bureaucracy.
so the Dr. Toby Derry made a study on the BCO. He was a top scientist, chemist in the Philippines. And his first test was the Cebu prison.
Cebu, the city jail or
Cebu.
something in Cebu.
Cebu.
Okay.
His friend was a doctor there, and they underwent a treatment of 3 teaspoons a day
Uh-huh.
for 2 weeks,
Okay.
and then COVID free.
They became COVID-free afterwards.
Pero
wow, that's great to
sabi ng
hear.
FDA,
Mm-mm.
hindi pwede, kailangan may mga maraming test pa.
Oh.
And other clinical studies. Pero unfortunately, si DOST,
Yeah.
De La Peña, took the responsibility of financing and testing the
Oh.
clinical studies in PGH,
Mm-hmm.
Santa
So what
Rosa.
is the status now of BCO?
The
in our-
status now
Mm-mm.
is, before that,
Mm-mm.
they made clinical tests already that it was 60% effective.
Okay.
But then the doctors group, even in the DOST, said that you cannot classify it as a cure until
Oh.
full clinical studies of thousands of patients are made.
So not yet a cure, but what do they recommend therefore?
They still recommend the use of it.
The use of it, but not for you to what do you call, consider it a real cure, but something that can help.
But Secretary De La Peña did the clinical studies shortcut.
Okay.
So he was able to finish the clinical studies
Mm-hmm.
with shortcut method, and they proved it was 60 to 90% effective. So finally, the doctors in the DOST gave in, but the doctors outside did not. Not all of the doctors, but we have people who natural doctors who are in favor, and some government organizations. So what is unfortunate is this was not promoted. Even
Yes.
the PCA, Philippine Coconut Authority, and the other government agents, after release of the DOST approval, it was surprising that there was no promotion at all.
So are all these experiences that you have been encountering
Yes.
as an inventor, were this your motives for you to, feel that it's about time people get to know or you be given a chance? Tell me, Mr. Ingles, do you think you have a fighting chance to beat, for example, a certain Joy Belmonte, who we know is the daughter of SB, who's there in the politics for a long, long time, or not even a defensor? Do you have that fighting chance if you ask yourself that?
Uh, I think so. If with the limited funds I have,
Mhm.
if I will be able to reach the DNE class, because most of the DNE class is a greater percentage of voters. But unfortunately, I understand now that the next target of Joy Belmonte is the DNE class.
Besides, we know that she's been there
Yes.
and she had already her term, wherein she had access to, of course, all the all the budget that the government can afford to give the D and E
Yes.
classes. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little tip that last December alone, she called on all the organizations of senior citizens, organizations of workers,
Yes.
and all the sectoral groups. So that is really an advantage to her.
Yes.
In fact, even a disadvantage to Defensor, who we know is ranking second. But just in case, you be given a chance to, if there's such a thing as a mayoralty debate,
Yes.
what do you think would be, your more or less the content of your speech, or your platform that can make you in equal footing with her, who is now the incumbent mayor?
Okay.
No.
So most of the candidates, even in the other towns, they have more of the political lawyer approach.
Political lawyer approach.
But in my case, because of the scientific approach and my
Mhm.
background,
Mhm.
I feel that I can contribute more to the development of the Quezon City government using what I've learned and experienced from the American mindset, the German mindset, European mindset. And I have already developed this product, which is undergoing patent, which I have many testimonies. It can cure,
It can cure.
but I cannot, without the FDA, I cannot promote it.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I've gone only up to cold and flu, but the cold and flu is a coronavirus.
Okay. Now, okay, granted that I would really believe you because I'm talking to you face to face, but as you know, people, the electorate, are not within no, right now they may be listening to us. So what we can do together is, play this over and over, share this and all that, so we get a million views, so people will get to know you better. But what would be a fighting chance, or what do you think would be your piece in order for you to win the at least the approval of Quezon City constituents to give you the opportunity to become mayor of Quezon City?
First of all, I'm banking on the capacity of my product to make Quezon City pandemic free and future pandemics. And this is not the only product I have. The I have just discovered recently that my research on nanotechnology, copper colloids, which I'll be giving you a free sample of.
Wow. Can we put that over here,
Yes,
Mr. English? Oh,
copper,
so
copper
this
colloids.
is the one. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was looking at the. Okay.
Okay,
This is copper colloid.
I
Okay.
didn't bring my laser, but
Uh-huh.
with a laser you can test it, and it will show a beam which shows that it has particles.
Okay.
Nanoparticles of copper. What is very interesting that copper is an essential nutrient, and it's used. It's an essential nutrient for mankind, for animals and for plants. And then I found out that the copper, the latest scientific finding on copper, is when COVID-19, University of Southampton, 2021, when COVID-19 makes contact with the contact surface, it will disintegrate in 1 minute. It will break structure of the virus. So
The virus itself will
the virus,
just,
it will disintegrate
disintegrate.
in 1 minute.
That's good to hear.
Now, copper is a little bit expensive if
Yes.
we put it in the hospitals by plating copper.
So that's why you formulated it to be here.
Yeah, I
And
found,
it's nano. Okay, nanotechnology.
Technology. It has the size of a virus already,
Yes.
and then to bigger. So what is interesting to know is Ukraine had made a study on plant disease, and they have found they're the biggest producers, and they supplied it to the agriculture, which is there's a very big agriculture in Ukraine.
In Ukraine.
They have the richest topsoil,
Mhm.
and they're the biggest producer of wheat in Russia.
Mhm.
So what's interesting to find out is they've been using this, and then I'm not sure if they realize it already. This is already another cure for all virus, all bacteria, all pathogens.
And you're talking in particular already with your nano copper
Copper
colloid.
colloid.
Oh,
Copper
it's
colloid.
nano copper colloid. I know Cu is the what do you call that symbol, the
Yes,
copper
well,
symbol.
copper,
Okay. So and this one you had this patented already.
No, I have not, because I've been still working on the technology. So the global market price for 1 liter of this is $37.50. But fortunately, I was able to have my technician make electrolysis method of making colloid, and by experimenting, I was able to hit on the method of making the exact same quality as the Ukraine quality. So I can sell this for much cheaper.
Wow, that's
But-
great to hear.
So at the present, though I have tried it, and because of lack of knowledge, people don't seem to be attracted to it yet.
I understand that because
so-
people who don't understand will never appreciate something they don't understand.
But for the few friends that I've had already, very, very effective. So you take
Right.
1 tablespoon a day to increase your copper level in the body. Every Filipino and 90% of the people in the world are copper deficient
All right.
because lacking in the soil.
Yes, yes.
So when you increase the copper level, because of the unique properties, I'll give you a little bit of scientific with chemistry background. Copper is the only element of the periodic table with an extra electron on its shell. So when it makes contact, the extra electron gives ions of copper against against the virus and pathogen.
All right.
So we found out that in personal testimonies that for cold and flu, all you need is 1 tablespoon to increase your per day to increase your copper level. And another factor on copper is there are certain genetically rare individuals who have a high copper level, and they have found out they are immune to all virus and bacteria disease. So we have one associate who has a genetically high copper content, and he is immune to COVID-19.
Whoa.
So this is another factor if we increase the copper level from the foods that we have are seafood and seaweed in copper. So if you do not have enough copper, but the Japanese, the zero point 0.9 microgram is the average requirement for the micronutrient copper per day for an individual. And um, concerning the toxicity, the Japanese are eating seaweed and their levels are hundreds of times more than the minimum required. So medyo safe ito because in 1 liter, this wala pang zero point 0.9 microgram. So
Yes,
this has great potential if I'm able to get the clinical studies and the FDA later on. But in the meantime, I'm giving away this free.
okay.
I
That's good to hear. So you're leaving some for Elizalde Broadcasting.
Yes.
And that's good. Okay, but for now, Mr. Ingles, I'm sorry, but because we are running out of time, we passed. But I have good news for you because I have another program called Special People, but this airs only Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
So what I will do is this: we'll cut this. We'll have to say bye bye now to our viewers of EB Talakayan, and then pause for a while, and then I'll give you some few minutes later on that I'll just give you the chance to speak about your products, and I will include that in my next program, which is
Okay.
Special People, because I know you have very interesting topics to discuss. It's except that our viewers will be watching us only up to 11 past, and we might have so ladies and gentlemen, again, he is a mayoralty candidate who talks to us like a real scientist. So, because I'm excited to know more about his, inventions and discoveries, I believe, because like copper and all that, I know that his own research made him know a lot about this. So, we'll say bye bye for now. In behalf of my boss, Madam Imelda Romualda, sorry, Imelda Elizalde of EB Talakayan. We're signing off now for EB Talakayan, but do stand by because Special People will give you special footages and special things, pointers from our guest for today, Mr. Jose Ingles Jr., our official candidate of the Labor Party Philippines for mayor in Quezon City. So, Mr. Ingles, tell them they'll be seeing more of you in the next program, Special People. Okay, for now, this is Rex Manuel of EB Talakayan, and we'll see you again. Okay ba, ano? Para si Sir